What's the motherfucking deal? I know I ain't give y'all the motherfucking intro. I got a whole bunch of shit going on in the background, and that is not even the number for the sauce line anymore. Like I said, it's a whole bunch of shit going on. But we're going to get into it, man. Like I said, I wasn't trying to keep y'all waiting through all the extra. And I'll just tell y'all what, I'll drop the sauce line in the chat, the new number for the sauce line here in just a second. But what's the motherfucking deal, man? Hey, welcome to Sauce Sports. If you're not familiar with Sauce Sports is a Houston, Texas Homer Network. Means we're talking all sports, but only Houston. And I have one of the distinguished gentlemen from the round table joining me this evening. Man, who we got in the mix tonight, man?
It's your boy, the definition of those Spitz, a.k.a. Texans offensive coordinator from YouTube. What's the deal?
Already. Again, my little button ain't working nice. It's tripping. But again, man, like I say, welcome to Sauce Sports, man. We got plenty to talk about tonight, man. We're gonna cover a little bit of everything. Then we're gonna get into a good conversation. I know y'all be want to talk Texas, so we're gonna make sure we have some good Texas conversation before it's all said and done. But you know, here's the deal, man. A couple of things happened in the city, you know, and I posted on the gram earlier. And again, like I said, I'm not the biggest Stros fan. I'm working on it. I'm trying to, you know, get my Stros flavor going. Before we get into this roll call, I want to know how y'all feel, man. I'm hearing that the Astros are still interested in retaining the services of Dallas Keuchel. And I've heard mixed opinions from Astros fans saying, you know, hey, bring him back and not bring it back. So I want to know what y'all feeling in the chat. And while y'all comment on that, we're going to see who we have joining us this evening. Make sure you follow Sauce Sports on the gram and the Twitter at Sauce Sports HTX. And again, like I said, if you're not familiar with the Sauce Nation roll call, man, hey, it's pretty simple, Jack, man. Just shout out where you're from, man. Shout out your side with pride. And we will make sure to drip a little bit of love on that, man. And we'll see who we got joining us tonight. So I see Quincy Jones, Kiki Goatee, Jacob Healy, X Holiday, Seth Clark, J Pack, DeMarcus, J Dizzle, Miss Voodoo C, one and a half of the greatest moderating couple in all the land. Always good to see you. Dylan Terrell, Rigo, Olvera, SMC Squad, Zach Hereda, I don't know. He's a Dallas fan, but nah, we gonna give him some love because he's a Rockets fan. Luke, what's the motherfucking deal? Shout out to Luke, man. Kenneth, what's the motherfucking deal? Adrian Quintero, Edwin Baptiste, Real Swift, Michael Schomer, Tony Lawyer. Let's see. Who we got? Make sure I ain't missing nobody. Let me see. L. Murray, what's the motherfucking deal? Wise, what's the motherfucking deal? Billy Dial, what's the motherfucking deal? Let's see. C. Benji, what's the motherfucking deal? And Beard out there getting thoughts pregnant. What?
Damn.
Let me see. B. Antho, bump his gun, but your bitch ass up in this bitch all the time. Don't want no smoke. Dre Day, let's see. And why I say, man, he fuck with your hat, man.
Appreciate that.
You say he's like Gordon, you can go off and just be bad, regardless he's a champion. This is true. Say, I think they should bring him back. Haven't signed anyone else and made any trades already. I hope the Beard ain't out there getting thoughts pregnant, but there's only so many times you're gonna be fucking with them boppers, man, and get off. So let's hope not. Don't be the most valuable pregnancy. Be the most valuable player. That's not what you want, man. But again, man. So like I say, man, we got plenty to talk about tonight. Speaking of the Beard, man, like I say, we gonna show the Beard a little bit of love. And as we know, last night in Madison Square Garden, that boy went off, dropped a hot 61 real quick. You know what I mean? And I mean, he has just been on a tear. The last 5 games combined, 261 points. This is ridiculous. And again, this is not being able to necessarily throughout this entire series, no Capella. Gordon been kind of in and out. The rest of the team has not been very consistent. And again, they haven't all been wins, but again, outside of that Philly game, which was just a blowout, we ain't gonna talk about that shit. But again, you know, Embiid was able to take advantage because I guess the next biggest dude they had out there really was fucking Fareed, and he only like 6'9" again. So you know, Embiid should be able to take advantage of a situation like that. But the beard right now, I think the Rockets are in 5th in the West. Just kind of want to know your opinion. I feel like I know how I feel. I know you're an Orlando fan, you know, so it is what it is. But do you feel right now that MVP consideration should be going to James Harden?
It's not even a consideration. It's no longer a race. He's the MVP. It's like I've been saying he was the MVP since when he hit that buzzer beater against Golden State a couple weeks back in overtime when he was by himself and Golden State was fully healthy. They had Curry, they had Durant. I was saying at the end that he was the MVP, and he's done nothing but continue to make sure and put himself. I mean, early on, I was saying that it was Giannis, but it's not a question. It's not a question. It's James Harden. And me being a Magic fan, like my favorite player of all time is T-Mac. That's the reason why I am a Magic fan. And you know, T-Mac was a scorer. Yeah. Can't nobody score like James Harden. Like James Harden is the best scorer I've ever seen. Like. This it's like you could throw out your Kobe's and like he don't have the shot like Curry and he don't got the killer instinct like Kobe and Jordan, but it's just something about the way he gets the free throw line. He had 6 points last night and none of them were assisted. I mean, he got all of them on his own. And then you hear clowns on TV like Colin Cowherd talking about that shows that he's not a good basketball player because his points wasn't assisted. Like that's his fault.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And that leads me to another question, man, because you hear all this nonsense again in the national media. We already know how that is. It's a Houston thing. They don't like to. They don't want to show no love, man. But
it's a state thing. But yeah, I feel you.
Man, like why? It seems like again, it could be my bias because it is what it is. But why does it seem like Harden gets more hate than anybody I've ever seen? I mean, like nobody wants to give the man credit. You know, they all still want to go back to years ago. He choked in the play because this man, one, he's improved his body and his conditioning over the years because you've seen it be nothing but better each year as it goes along. But you know, last year well, all the threes in the against Golden State. Man, he ain't have no number 2 really. I mean, and again, why can't one of those guys like that they're talking about now, who his unassisted shows he's not that good? Why didn't any of those guys make the necessary shots? Because they had plenty of opportunities too. You know, he still, I want to say, dropped 30 and some change against Golden State in that last game. So, I mean, you know, I don't know what else they want from him against, again, one of the most dominant teams in probably NBA history. And they've only gotten more stacked with the addition of DeMarcus.
Well, ain't the Rockets like 2 or 3? I know they're 3-0 against the Lakers. Ain't they like 3-0 against Golden State too, or 2-0? I know they beat them twice.
Yeah, I believe they. I think it's twice. I don't like I said. I got to double check that, but I want to say it's twice.
I know the Lakers with LeBron is 3-0, even though LeBron ain't playing Saturday, but they beating the Lakers all 3 times. Like the Rockets are setting themselves up. Like if something were to happen and like tiebreakers would get involved, they hold the tiebreakers of all the quote unquote best teams in basketball.
Exactly.
And it's really a one man show. Like it's. And then that's when you hear people say, "Oh, regular season don't matter." It matters for something because that's how you get into the postseason. It's through the regular season, but that's neither here or there. I think Harden doesn't get love because he's not marketable. Like you can't market Harden as the face of the NBA, so that's why they want to. Like Harden should have been the MVP that he got last year. Should have been Harden's 3rd MVP. Like it should have been his 3rd. He should have won the year before. Russell Westbrook shouldn't have won, and then Curry's first one back in 15 shouldn't have won. Like Harden should already have 3. He should be working on his 4th one, not his 2nd.
Exactly, and that's ridiculous. But the thing that kills me because you hear motherfuckers and Brian W. Man, appreciate the super saucy super chat love, man. And you hear people talking about, oh well, we've got voter fatigue for Harden. That's something you say about LeBron because you can always have LeBron in the conversation every year. Voter fatigue means you've had to have won it a few times. Harden is taking it to another level. Again, I mean, what kills me because there's always the hate about, oh, well, this, that, and the third. Who's won a championship? And then you think throughout history, the only one I really give credit to is Hakeem. I can't say there's too many other – I mean, and this is throughout the entire NBA history. How many other teams have won a championship without having a solid number 1 guy and a number 2 guy? And so there's always this undercutting. Well, he didn't do this. Okay, but again, everybody he played, everybody that he's gone against, he's lost to the Warriors a couple of times in the playoffs. He's never had a solid number 2 for a full series when it mattered. We can talk about the CP3 situation. You know, they were 2 games up. Eric Gordon is your number 2. Nobody's really giving Eric Gordon credit like that. Yeah, he can be wishy-washy. Sometimes he can light you up, and then sometimes he's going to disappear. So you can't really guarantee him you can't get any consistency from him. But again, it's always on the shoulders of Harden. But they don't look at, okay, well, like I say, Golden State, the death lineup, and all that shit that they talked about that last year going against basically one man. And Capella, I'm going to give Capella his credit because Capella showed up a little bit last year, but they were able to contain him somewhat in a sense. But again, my thing is, I don't understand the narrative, how it changes when it comes to Harden winning MVP. Because just like you said, this should be his third. And I want to say that second one against Russell, it was all about stats. Well, how come it wasn't about stats when it was Curry's year? Yeah, Curry's year it was best player on the best team. Then when it was Russell, it was the guy that the team needed the most because without him they wouldn't be relevant. And then finally, like I said, Harden got his.
So you said same thing about the Rockets.
Yeah, and so like I say, it's the crazy thing. And then, they won it last year. I guess you would say best player, best record, all that other stuff. But it's like they try to change the narrative when it comes to Harden and what he does. And so like I say, it just baffles me. What you got?
They keep moving the goal. When it comes to Harden and MVP, they keep moving the goalposts further and further. Like last year, they had to give it to him because I think true basketball people realize that, one, they had to correct their wrong by they gave it to Westbrook, and Westbrook clearly shouldn't have won the MVP. And then the Rockets were the number 1 team in basketball for the whole season. It wasn't like they came on late. The whole year, the Rockets, from start to finish last year, was the best team in basketball. And you can't deny that. When it comes to regular season, from the time tip-off started in October to the season ended in March, the Rockets were the best team the whole year, and he's clearly the best player on the best team, so he's definitely should have won the MVP. And now this year, I've heard a lot of conversations about him not being the MVP, and just think about not even a month ago, the Rockets were the 14th best team in the NBA. Now I know about last week they were 4th. I know they dropped a couple games, and that would push them down to 5th. But there's still a chance that the Rockets will end up as a 2 seed. Because one, James Harden doing all this without CP3. I forgot CP3 was on the team until I seen him the other day on the side. I'm like, oh shit, I forgot Chris Paul playing.
Yeah, they're bowling and shit.
Yeah. I mean, if Capella go down, I know Gordon just came back, and like you say, he's the second best player. That's not a recipe for success when it comes dealing with championships. Like you say, Dream is the only one. That's what I'm sitting there thinking. I could barely think of a damn team to get to the finals, let alone win the finals, without having a 1 and 2, except Dream's Rockets back in '94. So, and that when you're talking about a top 25 player of all time, when you're talking about Dream. So, like that's a very difficult task. So you can't blame Harden for not having no chips when he was supposed to win a chip. What year besides last year?
Exactly.
Like other than that, what year was he supposed to win a chip? Especially when you got them team down there in Golden State, they got 8 All-Stars. Like, come on now, like that's really completely impossible. And like it's a shame that the way they do them, but like I say, it's more so that they can't market James Harden as the NBA's best player in the league. I still see stuff having him as the 7th best player in the league when he. Like, that's so stupid.
Exactly.
It's so asinine.
Yeah.
And the whole thing about him, defense, he's gotten a lot better. It's not James Harden 2014 and 15 defense. Like, his defense this year and last year is completely different from when he first became a Rocket.
Exactly. And Kenneth, you know why your busted ass got fucking timed out. I'm time out your other name too. You talking about Hakeem was trash, so you getting double timed out, nigga.
Who said that?
Kenneth had to get. I got to put him in double time out. Both your names getting timed out, nigga. So again,
how is Dream trash?
Kenneth likes to troll, and so I'm not going to entertain that nonsense.
Oh, okay. I'm about to say what the. I thought that was a legit opinion.
Nah,
I'm like,
but he
come
don't
on.
know that's before his time anyway, so he wouldn't know.
Okay.
He wouldn't know good if it hit him in the face. But again, man, like you were saying, and so you made a good point earlier. You know, you talk about Kobe, and you talk about some of these other guys. Do you put Harden in the conversation as one of the best scorers of all time? I mean, do you really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Like, one, he could always get to the even when the shot not falling, and that's something that actually did frustrate about me when it comes to him in the playoffs, because I think when the nights when his shot not falling, because he's so good at getting to the free throw line, and instead of taking the shots, just get yourself to the free throw line, maybe get yourself back into a rhythm of shooting. That was the only thing that really frustrated me as far as watching them in the playoffs, because there's a lot of times I'll be rooting for the Rockets because they play against teams I can't stand, and Yeah, and like it's sometimes like that's the thing that frustrates me about him. But because he can get to the free throw line like I've never seen, and he's so clutch at the free throw line. Not to mention he has a step back three, he has a mid range upper, he can drive, he can cross over, go to the lane, he got layup. He anything that you need offensively to score, he has all that in his repertoire. Like he has everything that you can ask for a score. He's not the best at it all, but he can do everything at any given moment. And for him to be on the stretch, this is 20 straight games with 30+ points, and like you say, 200 some points in the last 4 games. Like that's crazy. Yeah. That's an average of 50. That's average of 50, 60 points a game.
Yeah, and that's ridiculous. And that's what I'm saying. And again, like you said, to mention that point you made with defense, how did he cap that game off? By solidifying the game with a steal to go ahead and close it out. Again, but people say, it's that narrative that lets you know the media's not watching, because they got assistants and everybody that feeds them information. They got to push this image. Oh, Harden doesn't play. Man, you're talking about Harden from when he first got to the Rockets, and again, we can talk about the flopping. I think that his flopping has decreased because I think he's gotten better at getting people to foul him. The way he puts the ball out there, that makes people reach, and again, and there's still a lot of calls he don't get, and that's what people don't really understand. They get mad because he's smart. It's not all about athleticism. He has some athleticism. He's not the most athletic guy. He can get to the rim. He can throw it down when he needs to, but he's smart with the basketball. And I think that's what sets him apart. Like you said, he doesn't have that killer instinct like Jordan and Kobe, but he just knows how to get the ball in the basket. But enough about Harden, man. I want to talk about something. We're going to give the people what they want. I know they want to talk a little – I know they want to talk a little Texans. So we got a couple of things happening with the Texans right now. We got a couple of Texans in the Pro Bowl, a couple of alternates, and then you got McKinney who made it. We had a couple of guys end up sitting out. I want to say Watt and Clowney end up sitting out. And Hop did sit out too. I forgot. Man, look, I forget about Hop. They all sitting out because they had to take care of some injuries and things like that. Again, it's the Pro Bowl. It is what it is. They getting paid. They don't need that little check. So you got a couple of guys. They seem to be having some fun out there. You see Watson out there, doing his thing, and he's definitely signed a lot of autographs. I posted a question on the gram, and I want to know how you feel about it. And I think we may have talked about it briefly, but again, you see all the people out there in the picture where he's signing autographs. It's pretty much all Watson Clemson pictures. We talked about how the national media, when he did his little rounds last week, that they weren't even asking him questions about the Tech. They was asking him about other teams and what he thinks about this, that, and the third, and what it felt like to win at Clemson. That's been a couple of years now. Clemson went and got him another one. I'm not, taking away anything from what he did, but I'm just saying, like, what is it? Why is it? I mean, is it that we have to go out there and get the respect as a team? He's already commanded his respect as a player, but we need that respect as a team, or is it just that suppression of Houston that the national media tends to do? What is your opinion on that, man?
I think it's more so because he was already a name before he became a Texan. Like, it would have been no matter who he would have been, if he was a Cowboy, if he was a Jet, because he was already a household name because of Clemson. That's the reason why. Like for instance, in reverse, my boy Pat. Pat wasn't a household name coming out of Tech because Tech doesn't do anything. He comes in, he throws 50 touchdowns, 5,000 yards, more. So he's a household name. Now, Deshaun's more likely going to be known as a Clemson Tiger until he does something out of the ordinary as a football player, win a championship or throw for 50 touchdowns and 5,000 yards. Like, same thing with Luck. Like, Luck, even though Luck was the number 1 overall pick, but he didn't do anything at Stanford. It's RG3. He was a Heisman Trophy winner, so people know him from Baylor more so than they know him from Washington. So it's because he had success at Clemson, being a national champion. He was a runner-up for the Heisman in back-to-back years and back-to-back national championship games. That's actually one reason I want to get further away from. I'm sick of hearing about Clemson and Bama. I'm sick of hearing about. I know he can do it because I seen him do it against Bama. This ain't Bama no more. This ain't Clemson. This ain't whatever. I forgot what Clemson chant is. This is Houston. I don't want to hear about Clemson. I don't want to hear about him winning and beating Bama and looking good against Bama. I want to hear him looking good against the Colts, against the Patriots, against the Chargers. I want to hear about stat. I don't want to hear about looking good against Alabama. I want to get us further away from that. But most of his fans are going to be fans because of what he's done at Clemson, because that's where he became a name.
Okay, and I agree, man, because I know a lot of – I remember seeing it on the channel, man. Once he got drafted, a lot of Clemson fans start showing up. And again, not
Yeah.
knocking that, because shit, one, not only just Watson, but shit, the litany of other players. What was it, Reader and Watkins and a couple other guys that we picked up.
Hop.
And Hop. Oh yeah, like, man, what I've been forgetting about Hop. God damn, I gotta stop. I'm doing my boy bad, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. I look like I got love for Hop, man. But so kind of looking forward though. And I agree, man. Like I say, what?
I was just saying, like, the same thing. I got a lot of people on my channel that comment on my videos. A lot of them mostly say that they were Clemson fans, and because of Deshaun, they watched the Texans. So a lot of Texan fans are originally, like, they only here because of Deshaun, which, like I say, I'm not banning them or nothing like that. Like, I welcome all newcomers because I want to get to that point. I want to get to that point that I want Texan fans to be not just people from Houston, because for the longest, Texan fans were only fans because they were around Houston, they from Houston, they close by Houston. Now, with JJ became popular, and now with Deshaun and Hop, like, these other people bringing in other people around from other states. So it won't be too rare when I go. If I went to another town or another state, I might see a Texan flag. I was forgot what I was doing. I was watching some video. On either Instagram or YouTube. I was watching something, and I seen somebody walking around with a Texan jersey, and they wasn't not a Texan jersey, a Texan hoodie, and they wasn't in Texas. Like, the video was based, like, because it was, I know it was Texas because it was too damn cold. It was snowing, so I know for a fact it wasn't Texas. And I was like, bet, like, I like to see that. I like to see my team in other places. Like, I like to see I get crunk when I see when I see something symbolizing the Magic down here in Texas. Like, I like to see my teams represented by other people, not just people just because they from that city or state.
Already. Man, I agree too. And again, it's going to take some of that, because you see it, and it kills me when you see it in Houston. You see people with Patriots, or you see people with some other kind of gear, And again, you want to be on that level, because that means people respect what you're doing, because people love a winner. People want to follow champions no matter what it is. If the Texans ever get there, I'll guarantee you're going to have some people from other states really, I like such, or I started becoming a football fan when I seen the Texans do this, that, and the third, so that's why I'm a Texans fan. I remember running to a dude down there, said he was a St. Louis. I'm like, how the fuck? You a fucking St. Louis fan? You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck? But hey, again, he was talking about, because it was the Super Bowl when he first watched him, and that's when he first really became a football fan. So I can understand that. I mean, I can't knock it. It is what it is. Whatever gets the eyes on the tube. And y'all, man, make sure y'all check the links in the description, man. Right under the first part of the description, man. We got to get Spitz to 2K, man. The man is on a mission. 2K, then the 4K. Hey, so it starts with the 2K, man. Link in the description, man. Y'all make sure y'all go show Spitz channel some love. I moved it up so y'all can see it. Go and show that man some love, man. Let's get this man to the milestone. So here's the deal, though. Let's talk about it. You had a video you released, man, and you were talking about some things with the Texans, and you see some things differently. That you think the Texans need. And I'm gonna let you give the folks a rundown, kind of basically on what you said, and then we'll kind of discuss that, man.
Okay, well, I basically in the last video I did, I talked about 3 positions that the Texans need. I ranked them in 1, 2, and 3. And for the most part, like I said, that we pretty much all kind of somewhat agree on these positions, but maybe not in the specific order. The order that I had them is number 3. I think our 3rd biggest need is a running back. I think our 2 biggest need is offensive lineman. And I think that our number 1 biggest need is corner. I know most people want to say it's offensive lineman. I think our biggest need is corner, basically, from what I've seen in the postseason, not only for our game, but other games after us, games that happened just this past Sunday, made it even more apparent and even more problematic, the reason why we need to fix that secondary, and also some other things that have and possibly are going to be going on in this own division of the AFC South, that corner has to be something that has addressed, in my opinion, as a priority. And I think that it should be a double priority, because I think you should address that via free agency and draft.
Okay. Now, we're gonna talk about corner. We're gonna talk about line, because I think that's something we frequented on quite a bit. But something I want to discuss, man. You were talking about the running back position, and you brought up some interesting points. You had me thinking about it. I'm cool on Lamar Miller because of what it is. But you made some very valid points, and the point that you made that stood out to me the most, and this is what had me really kind of debating. This was what really had me kind of vacillating on the topic back and forth. I'm like, maybe Spitz right, And it is not to say that I don't like Lamar Miller. This is not to take away, how I feel about Lamar Miller. But you made a point about Watson throwing the ball to Deontay Foreman, and he's only been here a little bit. You saw him do it a couple times. One he dropped, he kind of came up short on, and then the other one he ran in for a touchdown, I want to say, against the Eagles. And but you don't see that ever happening with Miller, with all the significant snaps that Miller takes, and you kind of wonder why that is. Is that by design? Is that by quarterback confidence? Because let's be real about it. I mean, plays are designed a certain way. And we talk about, we're not using the tight ends. But this is by choice. The quarterback makes the choice when he's on the field. You know what I mean? I mean, yeah, you can draw up certain shit a certain way. You have reads, but if you're not looking at certain guys to bail you out in certain situations, then this may be a lack of confidence. We talk about why he didn't use the tight ends as much and certain things like that. But the fact that you kind of saw more going to Foreman in just those couple of little games, and he wasn't really 100%. He wasn't really all there over the attempts we ever seen to Miller throughout the season. Why is that? I mean, we saw a little bit last year, but why is it this year that you think that that decreased? And again, like I said, so that had me thinking. I mean, because we look at Miller as a guy with good hands. What happened there? Like, what do you think that is personally? Do you think just Foreman's just an overall better back? Do you think that Deshaun has more confidence in him? I mean, what is it that you see there that makes you, that made you bring that out?
Because this is what I think. I think if you put both Lamar Miller and Deontay Foreman on the track and say go, and they have a foot race, Lamar Miller's going to win every time. Like Lamar Miller is straight up faster than him. But I think that Deontay Foreman is a more talented back than Lamar Miller. And I think the only thing that Lamar Miller has over him is that he's a faster guy. I think that Deontay Foreman has a better vision, he's more impactful when he makes his decisions of when he should decide to run, how he should cut. I think Lamar Miller is a little bit more hesitant when he decides to do certain things. And because the way we look at Lamar Miller at him being fast, we just automatically assume that he should be a back that catches out the backfield. But my thing to that is, where's the evidence? Because not only do we not see no design pass plays to him, like I said, even when Deshaun when he's playing backyard football and he breaks out and he's scrambling, he's trying to do a check down, he very rarely goes to Lamar Miller, especially for a guy like you say who plays the amount of snaps that Lamar Miller plays, as much as the field he downs. And it seems like for every check down you can think about Lamar Miller, you can think about that same check down to Alfred Blue and Deontay Foreman, who only play a handful of games.
Interesting, very interesting.
When you think about that, I can think about that. I said 5 times that Lamar Miller caught some passes out the backfield. Lamar Miller is supposed to be your best back. Why is Alfred Blue getting those same? Alfred Blue's not ain't like he's a old type back who he's designed. He's supposed to be your quote unquote power back, and he's not that good of a catcher. We see Alfred Blue got brick hands. So when you see guys like that catching the same amount or in the same address of the same catches that Lamar Miller gets, that raises an eyebrow. That raises the question: what is really going on with Lamar Miller? Is it like you said? Is it that does he not trust Lamar Miller, or he doesn't see Lamar Miller as a threat, as an option? I'd rather check it down to a tight end, or I'd rather just run than check it down to Lamar Miller. What is it? Like I don't know what it is. That's a question that I really ask. I don't understand what it is. I'm thinking that maybe that's just not part of Lamar Miller's game. That's not a strength of his game.
Okay. Give me 1 second, y'all. I got to make sure I hit y'all with the new sauceline number. Give me 1 second because I didn't make it look all fancy. I forgot I still had the old one up. So again, man, and I'm thinking about that, and I started listening. I said, okay, I agree. I can agree with that. You got a guy who's supposed to get what, $6-7 million next year. And you made a good point about how
it's between 6.5. It's between 6.5 and 7, somewhere in that ball frame.
Okay, and you pointed out, okay, and you've seen a lot of teams who are able to find guys in later rounds, and they are able to develop these guys into quality backs. Kamara was a 3rd round guy, if I'm not mistaken, something like that. You look at Hunt,
Kamara and Kareem Hunt, both of them.
And so you look at guys like that and you say, well, do the Texans have the ability to, pick up a guy like that? And my big deal is been with the Texans is developing talent, you know, and I question a lot of it because we've seen that is not necessarily their forte. I think, you know, you've been good at picking up some guys who are just generational talents, and that's because, you know, they want it on their own accord. I don't feel like that's just the Texans going out and developing guys. We saw guys who came in that were very talented, but they just never seemed like they got to that next level. Some of the later round guys, but they've hit on some undrafteds. They've hit on, you know, the early rounds. So again, I question that. So are there any particular backs that you're seeing that draw your interest that you would be willing to replace Lamar Miller with to kind of get some of that money off the books?
And you're talking about via draft or free agency?
Shit, either or.
I know I brought up this name the other day when we were talking about backs. I was actually looking at the numbers, and like I said, if we get rid of Lamar Miller, we save between 6.5 and 7 million. A back that I'm not saying he's your main back. I'm not even saying he's your second back. I'm saying more so as a third back and a guy who I know can catch out the backfield. I wouldn't mind, and you could probably get him for about $3 million. T.J. Yeldon. Now, T.J. Yeldon, he was a second-round pick out of Alabama to Jacksonville. Now, as a second-round pick, you know, when you draft somebody in the first 2 rounds, they're supposed to be a starter. As a second-round pick, he's a bust. But if you use him as a second or third back, a guy who can catch out the backfield, I wouldn't mind using him. And as far as the draft, I really like the kid out of Texas A&M, Travion Williams. He can catch. He got good vision, and he loves. And this is something for the people who talk about offensive linemen. He loves to pass block. He's a great pass blocker. He actually thrives on pass pro. So that's something that's helping. Like I said, running game does a lot for Deshaun Watson. Like we talk about protecting Deshaun Watson, running game does a lot for him because it takes the pressure off and it moves the safeties back. Moves the safeties up and load up the box. And what happens when you load the safeties up in the box? Now it's more one-on-one coverage for Hop. That takes the safety away. Now Will Fuller can just breeze by his corner. Like that opens up for Kiki. It's a lot of things that you can open up by having a solid running game, and that's something that the Texans don't have. Our biggest threat is our run game. As our run game is Deshaun. So if you add an actual running back, and like I said, I'm cool with the dual back system if the dual back system is productive. Like if it's a productive dual back system, I'm cool with that. We don't have to have a 1,500-yard back, but if we have 2 backs who are productive as a dual back system, I'm cool with that. But we need a productive ground game that can take pressure off of Deshaun, not give up these false numbers that I think that we had last year for a long stretch of the season where they were the 3rd rushing attack in the NFL.
Okay. All right, give me a second. You had brought that up. Like I said, you made a good point when you brought up the Titans game. You know, outside of that long run, you got about 63 yards, you know, for the rest of the game. And we've seen, you know, some of those kind of games from Lamar Miller. You've seen some games where, you know, he looks good and you're like, okay, you know, okay, he can do a little something. Okay, you know, Lamar's coming with it. And then you'll see those games where he kind of disappears, and I think that consistency is an issue, especially when you're going to be spending that kind of money on a running back. So I think that's definitely something for the Texans to consider. I'm going to open up the line here. Like I said, it's a new number. You can call, you can text to the new number. It's on the screen right there. It's 833-677-2832 or 83-4-SAUCE. That's the easy way to remember it. And like I said, y'all can call in and we'll take some calls and everything like that. But again, man, you know, looking at the situation. So again, the Texans, they've got some guys at the Senior Bowl and some names I know that people have mentioned, Reisner and a couple other guys. I know that's a name a lot of people have talked about. And they were talking about Devlin was talking to him. And again, like I said, I'm not going to look too much into it because they were saying, oh, you know, Devlin was talking to him and, you know, Devlin was nodding his head about a lot of things that he was answering. And again, if we don't have confidence in Devlin, then I don't really give a shit about him shaking his head and agreeing on whatever he's talking to, you know, Reisner about. Like I said, I haven't honestly personally been paying a whole lot of attention to the Senior Bowl. I don't know if there's anybody, have you really been watching? Have you been looking at it? Is there anything that caught your interest or as far as
I haven't looked in the Senior Bowl, but do you like you said? I don't really trust Mike Devlin's opinion. When have we seen? What is the evidence? Like I just talked about the evidence of Lamar Miller. What is the evidence that he's a good coach?
Exactly.
There is none. Like if anything, the offensive line gets worse year after year.
Exactly. We're gonna take this call. Hold on. Let me make sure I got the right ear gear in. Hold on. All right. What's the motherfucking deal? We got calling in on the sauce line this evening. Shit, hold on. Hello. Who got called in the sauce line this evening?
It's Asmel.
Asmel, what's the motherfucking deal, Asmel? What you want to drop on the sauce line tonight, man?
When you start talking about the Dynamo, man, hey, man, shout out to James Harden, man. He's doing, I think I was one of his biggest critics, you know, when, for instance, the team came back on the Clippers when he was on the bench, and he basically had choked that game against, I believe, well, of course, the Clippers, but then later on against, I want to say it was Spurs. But then, of course, you know, these last 2 years, he's really proven to be able to do some major things. And, you know, just like Spitz said, I mean, they put him on this pedestal like, dude, he's going to get 5 All-Stars. These dudes could literally be on a team as an All-Star team just for the freaking West. And, like, people don't freaking give him credit. Like, just recently they started giving him credit. But then, you know, they start taking things away from him, like saying, "Oh, well, he's not getting on the." But at all, like he's carrying the team on his back. Like that's what an MVP is, a most valuable player. He adds value to the team. Without him, the team ain't got no value. Like that's the whole definition of an MVP. So, you know, you look at LeBron in his years with Kyrie needing him to close, you know, to beat Golden State, you know, many are gonna come back and say, hey, you know, Golden State should have won that. They should have gone 4-time champions on that. But yeah, man, Harden's doing amazing things. I honestly think he's not even gonna need 6 rings to eclipse Jordan. I think if he can get 4, especially if it's against the Warriors on the way to the final, like it's gonna definitely speak volume. He's not gonna need much. I mean, he's gonna have a lot of scoring titles. Honestly, even with CP3, like if CP3 goes, like if he comes back and gets injured again, and we can't use him in the playoffs, or next season he gets injured again, like I don't see why they wouldn't cut this dude. You know, because Pereira, one of the things he said is he's willing to play the luxury tax as long as he sees the sense in doing so. And you know, and that's basically saying as long as the team is producing, as long as we go into these championship games and competing to get to the final or in the final, then that's really all that matters. But as far as the Texans, man, it's nice to see Deshaun Watson out there. I've been tagging you guys on the fact that I hope Bill O'Brien is watching because, yeah, it is a Pro Bowl, but you're still going to see the creativity that they can create with Deshaun Watson as a quarterback. You're still going to see a good old line protecting him and what it looks like for him to be in the pocket with all the time in the world to throw. Without freaking seeing shadows of linemen coming at him. So it'll be interesting to definitely see him out there. You know, I've heard a lot of talk about Lamar Miller, you know, being cut, maybe even going after Le'Veon Bell. And it just sucks, you know, because the dude really embraces his team. You know, he's out there, like, you know, some of the sound bites, he's like, oh, I want to be next to my quarterback. I want to be next to my quarterback. So he knows what we have at the quarterback position, and the future is bright in this organization. So there's a lot of players that don't want to leave. But unfortunately, they do need to make changes at corner, for instance. You know, you got to draft 2 corners. You got to draft some linemen. You got to go out there in free agency and pick up more linemen. That left tackle for New England, like, bro, if they don't get re-signed, like, you got to go out that dude and go out there and give him what he wants, bro. I don't think he's going to ask for much, but at the end of the day, you got to do what's best for the team, like they always preach. And what's the best for the team right now is having shut down corners who can play man. Because as you heard Bill O'Brien talk about right after the coach game is, that they've been aching to play man, but they don't have the corners to do it, basically bashing the corners that he has right there. So I want to see you make moves now because you can't go back with the same corners that you got now and expect, you know, different results. That's just not going to happen. And I think they can get a running back in the 6th round. I think they will. I don't really think they play Le'Veon that much money, given the fact that, you know, it's the history that the Texans have. They're not going to pay a player who's going to basically hold out like that. I mean, that's the reason they let Dwayne Brown go. Because things can get a little chippy, and they just don't want to mess with that. They want young players in here who basically, like I said, they're trying to freaking produce a New England Patriot farm again, trying to, make these players want to play for no money. But, you're going to have to pay Clowney because he ain't going to play that. I mean, people got to get their money, man. I mean, it is what it is. But ultimately, man, I hope that whether it's this coaching staff or another coaching staff, that they take advantage of the rookie contract that Deshaun Watson has, and that they lay it all on the line, man, and they do what they need to do. Because once they got to pay Deshaun Watson, you heard him. If you offer me $170 million, I'm gonna take it. And that doesn't leave a lot of room for any much.
I found the ball.
So Watson getting older, Mercer get one more chance to get right. But again, it comes down to him being used properly. So maybe they even can pick up some defensive ends. I know they were looking at defensive ends in the Senior Bowl, so they'll probably pick up some undrafted ones from there. I don't think, as far as defensive ends, they never really had a problem coaching those guys up. I'm just more iffy about the O-line and who we have coaching the O-line. I wish we could throw money at the offensive line coach, even for the one that left for the coach. And even the one that's up there in England who's been there 17 years. But yeah, man, that's all my thoughts.
All right, man. Appreciate the call there, man. Man, here's the deal, and like I say, I agree, man. There's a lot of things. There's been a couple of O-line coaches that have been released. Should be available, but you haven't seen the Texans make any moves. Again, they feel confident in what they got. I don't think the fan base really feels the same. And again, Edmo brought up a good point with O'Brien talking about those quarters. So that should tell you the Texans should be aggressive in going and trying to pick up some quarters because they know how much of a deficit that is for the team right now. What's the motherfucking deal? Who do we have calling in on the sauce line this evening?
It's your boy Roman.
Roman, what's the motherfucking deal, Roman, man? What you want to drop on the sauce line tonight, man?
First of all, I said, that intro, bro, you was talking on deep. I said, whoa, what the hell is this, bro? You can't stop me. Don't stop playing. I said, damn. That could have got there first, but I like it, though. I'm happy you're doing something new, Honcho, man. I'm liking these new streams, these new, just about all Houston sports streams, man. I really like that. So, shout out to you and Spitz, man. Spitz have been watching your videos, man. Your videos been doing good, and that's all I want to say, man. That's first of all I want to say. That's the first one I want to say. So, there's three things I want to say real quick, man. I ain't gonna make them long. I'm gonna be pretty short with all three of them. But first of all, I want to talk about these Rockets, man. And first I want to say, people need to stop hating on James Harden, bro. I'm tired of the hate because you look at these national media sons of bitches and they like Max Kellerman. I've seen this nigga say the same shit about Harden for the past, I don't know how many weeks. Keep saying Harden's doing good, but showed in the playoffs. Harden's doing good, shown in the playoffs. Harden's doing good, shown. Which, what you ever doing? Do show it in the playoffs. But goddamn, put some respect on this man's name. You never talk about how this man is literally carrying his team like the dude said before me. That's an MVP. A person who gets his team out of the bullshit. We was down by 21 by the Lakers, came back. We was down by, I forgot how many by the Knicks, came back. And you know what? And people was fucking up. You see what Tucker did. Nigga not even touching the ball. Bro, you Hollywood pro, you ain't doing that shit, bro. That's that shit I was talking about with Tucker, man. I like Tucker, but the man only scored 3 points, man. I mean, damn. That's what I was talking about was say, we could have got rid of Tucker and even Gordon, because I like Gordon, but inconsistent. Okay, yeah, Gordon scored 20 points. I think 20-some points against the, against what they call it, against the Knicks. I know he scored some 20 points against the Lakers. I know both of those games he hit clutch shots. But he's inconsistent and injury prone. The man will go for another night and only score 6. He'll go for another night, be injured for 3 weeks. And we can't keep having that inconsistency, especially for our shooting guard. And our what's it called? And our point guard. We already got Chris Paul. When Chris Paul's on the floor, he's amazing. But he's injured. That's what I'm talking about, man. Let's see if we can get the trade going. Let's see if we can figure out, like I keep saying, get a Dennis Smith Jr., somebody young. You know, I wouldn't mind getting Mike Conley, but his contract is too big, so I'm not even trying to get Mike Conley. But we could get somebody like that. Man, help this team, bro. Oh, my God, we could get some youth with just a little bit of veteran presence. Like I said last call, man, this team will go so much way. I just think some people don't get what I'm saying by getting rid of Tucker and going. Like I said, no disrespect, I like them. They are not consistent. I need them to score. We're going to be an offensive team. They got to score. They got to keep that up nightly. I know Tucker's more defensive player, but come on, Tucker. You can put up 10, 11 points a game, bro. You don't know how much that helps the team. And all these people hate on Harden about all his points. Basically, most of his points were an assist. And then they showed him next to Clay, and Clay's points was assists. Man, I don't want to hear that shit. This nigga's going out there proving this shit night for night. When I last checked, ain't we 2-0 against the Warriors right now? Ain't we 3-0 or something against the Lakers right now? Ain't we beat Portland like twice? Like, all the big teams, nigga, we got dubs on. Yeah, we lost to a couple bad teams, but we had dubs with the big teams. So don't play the Rockets and act like they ain't a real team, bro. We have injuries, man. We ain't 100%. You can't expect the team to be 100%. And by those MVPs he didn't win back in 2014, 2015, bro, you had the Warriors, man. You had the Warriors going off and crazy, man, when they just came out of nowhere and blew up the league and just became dominant. And they just started everything. And that Russell Westbrook, man, Westbrook show one day. Yeah, he had the nice triple-double record, but what Harden was pinning up and how he was helping the team, that nothing compares, man. Harden doesn't force his assists like Westbrook does. Westbrook passes stats. You look at Westbrook, that nigga, no one he can't shoot right now. He's been on bad shooting game. And he don't like passing the ball. Westbrook does not like passing the ball, bro. You see Harden, Harden to do his step back and wants to do his pad and they give him the ball. But if Harden knows he fucked up, he gonna get that ball to the corner to Tucker or Gordon real quick. So I don't want to hear about that. So I'm all for the Rockets, man. We'll see how the season goes. Let's talk about these Texans, man. I seen your post when you was talking about Honcho and you was talking about Deshaun Watson and how the Clemson is. I think it's so disrespectful, man. But they do that to him because I feel like Watson hasn't did nothing yet. You know, Watson had a great rookie year, but we didn't win nothing. We had a bad record. We had a good record, lost in the first round. I think for him to gain respect, which he already has all Houston respect, but Watson got to do more. So when I look at people looking at him at Clemson, man, I don't even pay that mind. I don't get irritated about that because that is his business, the biggest success. I agree with Spitz said. I'm ready to see him talk about beating these teams, but we got to realize Watson's still young. He has time to grow. He came off ACL injury. Let him get in these next 2 years, man. I promise you, this man will go off. Him and Mahomes will be the next Brady and Manning. I feel it when they talk, bro. I like both of them. And I think it's time. We just can't pay attention to the media talking about Watson, man. Time will grow. And these Texans, like I said, we get our shit together. Man, it's something special happening to these Texans. So all Texans fans get mad about the media, man. Fuck the media, bro. But what else? One last thing, man. So I was looking at this mock draft, and they was basically talking about one of these mock drafts think the Texans should go get tight end. It made me give a question. This is my question for you and Spitz, man. In the draft, should we draft do you think we should either get O-linemen or corners? Or do you think we should get tight end on the running back? So out of those four, which one you think is our most, man? That's my question. That's my call, man. Good to see y'all, man. I'm out.
Alrighty, man. Appreciate the call there, Rome.
Man,
already, man.
And I seen that mock draft you were talking about, and I'm hearing
I seen it too.
That Font kid is good, but I don't think tight end is our biggest need. I don't think that's going to be a real major upgrade to anything because we
not
have
even close.
Talented tight ends already. They just need a little bit of time to develop. Again, you're gonna have to get rid of Griffin and get these guys some more PT. Honestly, I think if it's there, I can agree with what Spitz said when he was talking about corners being a big need for this team because of how bad it's been the last few years and how bad the secondary has been, for the last few years. And then you need something that you can solidify for the future. O-line that's a tough one because then you want to look at it and you're like, man, we need to protect Watson because where Watson goes, this team goes. But my thing with that always comes down to it is, again, we start talking about Devlin. And do you feel like Devlin is a guy that's going to develop talent? And that's why I'd rather almost go get a veteran lineman and, go for a corner in the draft. What are your thoughts on that one, Spitz?
My thing is, like I said about the needs, running back, corner, and offensive line. I think those are things that you have to address via via free agency. Then what I mean by free agency, that's not just straight free agency, that's trades, whatever you could do. Also, the draft. But I think the most important thing you got to handle in the draft. First, I mean, of course, it all depends how the board falls. You don't want to do no reaches on nobody, but if the board falls to you just right, it has to be corner. Like it's two corners that I really like. The first round corners, Greedy Williams out of LSU, and then DeAndre Baker out of Georgia. Two on the board. I prefer Greedy, but if one of those two on the board, you have to go. You have to take one of them. Like I rewatched the game against the Colts, and the way that game started is completely on the secondary. You can't sit up here and tell me I don't care how the Texans offense played. Like I thought about two key points in that game. If we had defense, if we had a better secondary, and say they don't go 14-0, say we hold them to a touchdown, we hold them to 2 field goals, and it's 6-0. That fourth down when Deshaun throws that pick, they don't play that fourth down the same. Then if the fourth down before halftime, if the Texans are not down 21-0, say the Texans are down 9-0 or 10-0. You play that fourth down differently. The whole game changes just because you were up. We felt pressure because we was up. I mean, we were down 14-0, 21-0 at halftime. The game is played different. If our defense was able to hold serve and hold them to some 3 and also hold them to only getting 3 points instead of getting 7s, that game is played differently. Then watching the game Sunday against the Chiefs and the Patriots, the Chiefs should have won that game. The Chiefs should have won that game.
I'm gonna take this call real quick and hold that thought.
All right, okay,
what's the motherfucking deal? Who we got calling in on the sauce line this evening?
Hey, what's happening, man? This is Big Bird, man, from the Southwest, man.
Already, Big Bird, man. What you want to drop on the motherfucking sauce line tonight, man?
Hey, man, just first of all, man, I want to give y'all boys props, man. I just came up on y'all boys a couple of weeks ago, man. Hey, man, the show is fire, man. Y'all boys keep doing y'all thing.
I appreciate it.
I'm just going to keep it short. We need offensive line, straight off the rip. We need corners, but we need offensive line to protect the QB. And I'm just going to ask y'all opinion. You don't think, like, if we get the offensive line right, you don't think Miller production will step up? And the second thing I want to actually get y'all boys' opinion on is, that boy Kevin Johnson, man, is he done? Is he concussion prone, or you think we can get a pick for him or something? And what about trading Merciless for somebody, man? I'm just putting it out there, man. I'm gonna get off the line and listen to y'all boys, man. Appreciate y'all.
Already, man. Appreciate the call, man.
Bet.
Already. Interesting, very interesting, man. I feel the Merciless situation. The Merciless situation, man. I just feel like he was misused. I don't think Merciless is done. I think that he still got plenty in the tank, but again, I forgot who it was that brought up the point. But you got to think about when Clowney was hurt, where Clowney is, and he had much more production. Again, I feel like both of these boys should be ends, and we should be running a 4-3. But that's a different conversation. We'll come right back to take this call real quick. We're gonna come back to that thought. What's the motherfucking deal? Who we got calling on the sauce line this evening?
Hey, Honcho, this is Dylan, and I just have a few things to say.
Right.
One, I agree with Spitz that instead of O-line, we should go for a corner if one of those two are are available, because I don't trust our offensive line with Mike Devlin to develop any O-line talent, and especially if there's any instant greatness like Quentin Nelson, which I don't think there is. I haven't really been looking into it that much. So I think we should go with corner there. And I think that if we bring in someone through free agency that could help them improve, I think that them with Jonathan Joseph, who could cover a third, could really help whatever corner we bring in. And I also think that for running back, I think Spitz mentioned him a little bit in his video the other day about Travion Williams, and I think that him and Deontay Foreman would be good combo, and I think that he's gonna fall into later rounds, like a third or a fourth round, because of his speed issues. But I think that through the Jimbo Fisher offense, with how well Jimbo Fisher is at developing running backs and what he teaches them, I don't think that I think he'll have some already coached in running back talent that we don't have to coach up as much. And the other thing that I noticed, this is the last thing, I'm sorry I'm taking a long time, but the other thing that I noticed was that after the Patriots win over the Chiefs in overtime, the Chiefs fired their DC, and it's if the Texans made it into the AFC Championship and they only lost to the Patriots in overtime, you know our front office would be like popping champagne, celebrating, giving extensions to everyone. So that's all I got to say.
Man, you brought up a very good point, man. Dylan, I appreciate the call, man.
Okay, see ya.
Right. Man, you brought up a very good point. I forgot because I did want to mention that, man. I did want to mention that shit. The fact that the Chiefs, when they fired their DC, and who they went, I think they would have picked up Spagnuolo, I believe. And they didn't, you know, they went on the search. They got active and went got them another one. And the Texans didn't make it that far. You got to look at the competition heading forward again, because I say it's not just about the Colts, man. It's about, you saw how the Colts got smoked. So it's not, it's the Colts, it's the Chiefs, it's the Patriots, because you know, and it's a tiered thing. You know what I'm saying? You got to step it up a notch. It's like a stepping stone. You know, each one is a little bit more difficult than the rest. And the Texans got to face a significant number of those teams next year. What's the motherfucking deal we got calling in the sauce line this evening?
Hey, it's your boy Josh again, man.
Josh, what's the motherfucking deal, man? What you want to drop on the sauce line tonight?
Yeah, first of all, I want to say shout out to you, shout out to Spitz for continuing to do it, and I like the new intro to the sauce line. It gives a new flavor to it. Just shout out on that. But the thing is, starting to watch the Pro Bowl, I know y'all see my IG post because I was the first one to it, talking about I'm glad to see him behind a good online, because I'm usually against players that playing in the Pro Bowl, but I'm actually glad watching him, man. I'm actually glad Miller made it too, because he can prove himself. He can prove how he is, man. I still think we need to get another running back for pass catching purposes, and really, like, honestly, I even like the running backs we had, you know, in the preseason that can catch the ball. His name Hope, something like that, but we let him go. It is what it is. Could have used him this year. Yeah, but anyway, man. And also about Harden, man, doing what he's doing, and I feel like, you know, if he's gonna break that Kobe 81 record this year, just because of how things are going. And one last thing, man. I know that Spears got his last time about that Texas Tech, man. I just wanted to say, man, I know it's probably off topic, but if Houston and Texas Tech play each other in the NCAA tournament, who y'all got? I already know who y'all two will pick, but I want to know the chat out feelings as well about that. I'll hang up and listen.
All righty, man. Appreciate your call there, Josh.
Yeah. All right, man.
All right, here's the deal. We're going to pause the sauce line for a bit. We're going to speak on some of these things here, address a few of these.
Quick thing. When it comes to basketball, I fuck with everything Tech, but college basketball, my favorite college team is Duke. But I do root for Tech, but it's Duke when it comes to college basketball all day. But just to throw that out there.
You know, Houston hooping right now, man. So I ain't mad at them. They looking real good. So, you know, I'm gonna roll with the Cougs no matter what, man. You know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But a couple of good points, man, were made, and I want to address some.
Yeah, they were.
And give us a chance to do that. Give me 1 second. But let's go back to real quick. We were talking about that DC issue, man. And I want to know your thoughts on that about the Texas. Like, because I was just talking about, it's a tiered thing. It's like stepping stones. And we've shown that Cornell, again, not hate, okay, early in the year was what it was. Players were rusty. You know, we didn't play them in the preseason, so getting them in the game shape, they really weren't there. You can talk about that first play, you know, Watson fumbling the ball, that put us in a bad spot, and ultimately we end up losing that game to the Patriots. But yet we've yet to see that success against the Patriots since, you know, O'Brien, Cornell have been here. We've yet to we saw 3 times this year Andrew Luck lit us up. I mean, with no abandon. I mean, he just had his way. He did whatever the fuck he wanted to, neck beard and all. And then you got to go and you look at a guy like an offensive mastermind like Reed and what he's been able to put together. When he had Smith, he put that work on us last year. Mahomes is a better quarterback. So are we expecting that we gon' get with him when we? Cause I think do we see the Chiefs next year? I think the Chiefs.
Yes.
So we see the Chiefs. Next year.
It's in Kansas City too.
And so then going up there, and that's what I'm saying. So like, and this is why I say, man, like I've gotten off my PTSD with the Texans post Texans season depression, you know, my PTSD, and I'm just like, it is what it is. I can only hope for the best and hope that they make the moves now, because it's no point in lamenting over last season, because it is what it is. We know what it is. You know, let's move on and start looking forward. So I'm not going to be all morbid about the shit, but I'm still going to be realistic. If they're not making the staff changes that are needed, I mean, how confident can you really feel? Like, I want to know your thoughts about that. I mean, and how the Texans have handled the DC situation. I know people hang on, we were the 5th defense and all that other stuff. But again, look at the quarterbacks you played. I think there's a lot of things that go into that. But what
a lot of things are skewed. It's alarming. It really is. Because that's one of the reasons. Like, I keep on saying this. Like, people told me I was crazy because you should want your team to win. And of course, I do want my team to win, but I don't want the easy road out. I didn't want to just get an easy team because people told me, you should have rooted for the Titans to beat the Colts. Like, no, I want the Colts. I want to face them straight up because I want to see what I want to have a measuring stick, and I wanted changes to be done because if they would get embarrassed, cool, they can get embarrassed. But that needs to mean changes need to be done. The Chiefs weren't embarrassed. They made it to the AFC Championship game and lost in overtime and still decided to make changes. And that's something that the Texans don't do. And it's not really just about Rack. It's about because actually my thing wasn't about firing Rack, even though I do think that they need to go into another direction. My thing is mostly, and we're gonna see how they play out because free agency is not ready yet. They're not able to make trades. So when we're gonna see what happens when the NFL year opens up in March and they can trade and free agency and drafts and things like that, and see what they can do via to fix their defense to fix something that was a glaring hole. But I want to point that to you because I know he got a lot of talk about being the Chiefs DC. What do you feel about Rex? Because I know he was supposed to get hired. I don't know what happened. I think the deals fell through, whatever the case may be. So he's still not employed as a DC. Would you take? I was looking at Rex's track record as a defensive coordinator with the Ravens, and also the way his defense played when he was the coach of the Jets and the Bills. Would you mind having Rex here as a DC?
I wouldn't trip. I like Rex. You know, he got
cool.
He might have a little foot fetish problem or whatever the hell he got going on. That's his own business.
Okay.
To each his
Right.
own. As long as you ain't, go get you a Watson tattoo. What was it? He got the tattoo of who was it, Sanchez or his wife in the Sanchez jersey or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Look, go ahead and get that covered up. Go ahead, get some nice tattoo artists down here in Houston. They can get you hooked up. You know what I'm saying? Let them go ahead and work that over. Get that Watson.
Put that number 4 on there. Yeah, get that 4 on.
Go ahead and get it right. But yeah, man, I wouldn't be opposed to Rex, man. Rex is a guy, he's smart, he's versatile. I think he's going to play to the team's strengths as opposed to trying to force something because, he runs I want to say Rex is a 3-4 guy, but he's not afraid to use, the 4-3. He's definitely versatile. He's going to play to the strengths of what that defense has. I don't think he's going to try to force guys out of position. And again, like I said, I think he's a solid defense coordinator. Coaching as a head coach, some guys, they have a limit.
And he calls aggressive play calls too. Exactly. He has an aggressive play game. Yeah.
And that's what I like about him. So again, like I said, man, I have no opposition to Rex, and I think sometimes maybe just some fresh energy, man, just some new blood. Sometimes is what you need, man. A little shot in the arm. And again, then the biggest issue, like I say, we haven't seen, and I've heard people make some interesting arguments as to why not getting an OC. But again, I say fuck it because the thing is, they say, well, don't want to bring an OC and then have Watson under another system and that guy ends up doing well and going elsewhere. I say fuck that because then if you bring an OC and you see that this guy can do something different, then you got to look at Bill O'Brien and say, okay, well, why have you been holding this guy back? If you find an OC who can cater to Watson's strengths, then you need to go in a different direction than what Bill O'Brien has been trying to do. Regardless if a guy comes through, he's here for a year or not. I mean, because if Bill O'Brien, I think he's doing what he's doing, he's not going to be here very long. So
the system and the terminology doesn't have to change. Only thing we need somebody who call better plays, call aggressive plays, the aggressive time to know when to take shots and when not to take shots, when to do this. Like I was telling y'all the last time, while Deshaun's a rhythm thrower, why we don't do passes early on in the game that get Deshaun into a rhythm, do little screens and things like that. You got 2 capable slot receivers in Kiki and DeAndre Carter, Deshaun Carter. Like we got options. We got playmakers. We could do little small things in the rhythm of a game to going and to get Deshaun the rhythm if he seems like he's having an off night, which I think when it comes to the offensive part of the playoff game, you want to go back to the last game we seen, it wasn't really the offensive line. It was more so that Deshaun wasn't at his best, and I think that he wasn't in the rhythm. I think being down 14-21-0 on that stage kind of. Now we got to force the issue. Now we got to get back in the game, and now we're doing things that we took away what we supposed to with the game plan that we had come into the game because we fell behind the horse so quickly.
I agree. And again, like I say, it's a lot of issues. People say, they'll try to justify, well, the defense only gave up 21 points. That's because the Colts got off the gas. They was like, well, fuck it, we're going to go ahead and chill, you know?
And like I said, and the people talk about the offensive line. Say the offensive line was fixed. Like say you had a legitimate offensive line in that game. That still don't stop Andrew Luck and T.Y. and Edmund and Ebron. That's still in Mac. That don't stop them. So you think every time Deshaun goes down and score, what was Andrew Luck gonna go do?
Exactly. Backdoor and eat.
Same thing.
And my thing is,
exactly.
They want to give credit. Well, it was only 21, but then this is the game you decide to let a motherfucker have over 100 yards rushing on you, and on the biggest stage when it counts the most. So, like I say, where people want to pick and choose, you know what I mean? Yeah. I think we just got to really look at it. And as a whole, that was, top to bottom, that was the worst Texan game. And now you can look at it and say, pieces were missing. And offensively, I can see a couple of things. Again, we saw Hop wasn't 100%. We know that. That's not even a question. Hop just really wasn't himself. So if they want credit for shutting Hop out or whatever, okay, whatever you want to call that. Yeah, you had a couple of rookie pieces in there. But again, we go back to the conversation about development. You had something about you felt confident putting these guys in, something about you felt confident letting Coates go. It goes back to decisions that were made earlier in the year. And the Texans just didn't make the necessary moves, and I'm just, like I say, just looking at this staff going forward the same way that it is, it's concerning. A couple other calls was made. I want to make sure we address these. And we had a call, and he said he was asking about offensive line. He was asking about, if it got better, would Miller's production get better? And asking about Kevin Johnson and Merciless for a trade. I kind of spoke on the Merciless thing. I think that, again, you bring in a new DC, maybe he uses Merciless the way he should be. I was saying that I felt like these guys you drafted him as an end, you drafted Clowney as an end, but then you try to convert these guys into outside linebackers, which I don't think is where they should be. I think they're most comfortable playing in. You let Clowney do too much, I think, and that's why you see some of those plays that happen where you let him make a lot. And I'm not saying that he can't make the decisions, but he has a propensity to want to do that little swim move inside and then lose outside contain, and then we get beat outside. And it's happened multiple times this season. You stay it in, you do your job. Quit worrying about trying to be so flexible. Make a motherfucker have to beat you. And I think it's going to be a real tough day for anybody who has to line up and work with Clowney all day long. Just let him work on one motherfucker all game, and eventually you're going to see his numbers go up and up because that motherfucker's going to be tired. Ain't nobody finna want to bang with Clowney all day. And again,
because Taylor Lewan, who's the highest paid left tackle in the NFL, and I know he didn't play the first game, but that Monday game, Clowney gave Taywan the business. Even though Clowney didn't have sacks in the game, but you could tell the way he was giving Taywan the business that whole night on Monday Night Football.
And my thing is, you let Merciless do the same on the other end because now, again, like I say, you got motherfuckers doing too much. Again, like I say, trying to get too cute. Line up. You have the talent. Make a motherfucker beat you, man. You got the talent. You got the young linebacking core that can play. You got guys who, again, in Zach, whose coverage gotten much better this year. It was leaps and bounds better than what it was last year. You got Cole, who was in and out because he had a little bit of injury or whatever it was, but again, he's a tough guy. He can cover. You got McKinney, whose coverage got better. That's been a thing that we've talked about for since he's been here. Man, McKinney can't cover shit. McKinney had made a couple of plays this season. Definitely showed that his cover skills got better. So I'm not even mad at that. Again, like I say, I think we need to be in a 4-3. Again, that doesn't change the secondary situation. But again, I think you get more pressure on the ball when you're putting, your most dominant pass rushers all on the field, all going after the ball again. And so again, it is what it is. But your thoughts, man? Kevin Johnson, and I'll be honest, Kevin Johnson is the GOAT, but I don't think he should be here next year. I'm sticking by it. I'm sticking with my crow clause. So I'm not eating no crow for the Kevin Johnson situation. Because see what happened was, because he got injured, he couldn't prove himself this year. But I don't want to see him get hurt again. So that's the only reason why. Otherwise, he'd have been on the field. He'd have been the greatest ever. Yeah, I'm bullshitting. But your thoughts on that, man? If the offensive line got right, would Miller's production go up? Do you see Kevin Johnson being here next year, and would you trade Merciless?
Okay, I'm gonna start off with Merciless. It depends on the deal. I'll entertain it. I'll think about it. But like I said, it might have been last week or the last time I was on here with me, you, and Wink. Like people, we overthink about like the thing that's going wrong with Merciless. Merciless production dips because he has Watt and Clowney in front of him, just like in Miami when you had LeBron, D-Wade, and Bosh. The Bosh just play dip because you got LeBron and D-Wade. Same thing with Clay. production is dipping when KD and Curry going off. Like when you got multiple guys going off and they're going to cater him. And one thing about Clowney, you need to stop letting him freelance because they already let JJ freelance. There's too many people in the defense freelance and doing their own little thing. We need people to play their assignments and play their assignment. We don't need everybody freelance. And that's some of the problem with Clowney. That's the reason why Clowney doesn't have multiple double-digit sacks, because he does too much freelance, and I think sometimes he gets himself out of position when he could have made a play because he's trying to freelance. Because JJ, actually, that what makes JJ special because he knows how to freelance correctly. I think Clowney freelance a little bit too much. When it comes to the offensive line and fixing Lamar Miller, no, because I think Lamar Miller's problem is vision. I think that Lamar Miller's main problem, he doesn't have the correct vision to be a starting running back. Like, he can get you yards. He can get 1,000 yards. That's always been my issue with Lamar Miller. Is that he's not a guy I can trust giving the ball to between 20 and 25 carries a game and get you a consistent 85 to 100 yards on a consistent basis, because he doesn't know how to run between tackles. He's not decisive. He doesn't have good vision. So I don't care how the offensive line plays. He's not deciding to run through the right holes. And Kevin Johnson, like, for real, like, I think that's part of the reason why we're in the situation we're in. I think they gave too much faith in Kevin Johnson, and that's the reason why they didn't be aggressive during the draft or be aggressive via free agency or try to make trades or make plays, anything like that, fixing the secondary, because they put too much faith and thinking that Kevin Johnson was going to have a bounce-back career. And also, that's one of the reasons why they foolishly, stupidly, that I can never understand why they let AJ go. Some of the talk was because they had their belief and faith in Kevin Johnson. I'm going to just hypothetically speak. Say that you and Wiles was correct about Kevin Johnson, and Kevin Johnson played as an all-pro. Wouldn't you like to have him play as an all-pro and still have Bouye on the opposite side? Because you still need two corners. Yeah. Last time I checked, you still need two of them. So that philosophy and logic does not make sense. Even if Kevin Johnson was an all-pro, you still would have needed AJ on the opposite side. Now you're in a situation that you need two instead of one. At least if you would have kept AJ, you only need one. Now you need two because he fell off and you let AJ walk, which doesn't make no sense. And you can never, ever, ever make that make sense to me. There's no way to make that make sense to me.
Now, interesting that you mentioned AJ, man, and some rumors have it that it could be a possibility that he could end up getting cut. Like I said, I don't know if it's a contract issue or whatever's going on in Jacksonville. You know, they gotta get their money right. If AJ Bouye was cut, would you entertain?
Yeah, they salary cap is bad. Yes, but I mean, he wouldn't get paid the money that he would have got paid if he would have stayed. Like, I never understood why. All the Texans had to do. Like it was very simple. All the Texans had to do was franchise tag him. He didn't have to sign the franchise tag. All he had to do was franchise tag him. If the deal with Osweiler, the trade to Osweiler fell through, and say I know the Osweiler money was on the table, and they also had money on the table to try to give to Romo. If all those things would have fell through, you could always trade AJ or just release him from the franchise tag and let him go find another team. But when you franchise tag him, you eliminate him talking from other teams. That could have been a placeholder just in case all your deals fell through. Now we can deal with AJ. But if everything through the time, Romo, you couldn't trade Osweiler, whatever the case may be, and you had to get the money off the books, then you just let AJ walk or you trade AJ, whatever the case may be. So that's what you should have done. That would have fixed half this problem that we're dealing with right now. But if AJ is cut, which I doubt he'll get cut, but I said that last year that this defense was going to start breaking apart because they got too much money invested in it. And they're going to have, because you're going to have to pay Ramsey. You're going to have to play Miles Jack. They put money in Calais Campbell because he was afraid they got too much money invested in that defense. Not to mention they need to fix the most important position in quarterback. So they will have to make people going to become cap casualties. I don't really think that AJ would have been. I know AJ didn't have the same production he had the last year and the last year the Texans that he had this previous year, but that's also due to that team as a whole wasn't a very good team this year.
And man, I mean, up until this point, man, why do you think the Texans are so hesitant or just they do not entertain using the franchise tag? I mean, are they just that cheap? I mean, what is it about the Texans that you think that just makes them? We're not going to do it? Because I mean, I can't remember the last time they used the franchise.
One time. They only used it one time. That was on Dante Robinson back in 2007.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
2007, 2008, something like that.
That was Pay Me Rick, wasn't it?
When he came out with the season opener, the shoes said "Pay Me Rick." That's the only time that they've used the franchise.
I give Rick Smith credit. I don't really fuck with.
For the most part.
Yeah.
What's up?
No, I said I really don't fuck with Rick Smith, but I give him his gangster card because he still got them cleats in his house. He said he got them hoes in a little case, so I give him that, man. But outside of that, Rick Smith, you know, it is what it is. I can't knock him in the first round, but outside of that, you know, later rounds, he just really, again, like I said, that last draft was his best draft. It was unfortunate that, you know, it took him, you know, 11 years to get it right. But outside of that, you know, in the first round, he was solid. You know, he had a couple of undrafteds that were solid, but you know, I think just throughout the entire draft, I think Rick Smith just really wasn't that credible. So,
and actually, the years that he actually hit on later round picks, they end up letting them go, and they became good players on other teams instead of being good players for us. But when it comes to that, I don't know what the problem is. I think for the most part, we mostly get contracts with most of the guys. I guess I know the player Mario was a player that we ended up not letting Connor was a player that we ended up letting leave Glover Quinn. So I mean, so there is some cases of why they use it. I think the Texans strike me as a franchise that once they get burnt once, they don't want to go down that road ever again. That's the reason why it took you damn the 20 years the quarterback in the front by David Carr. That's why I took him forever. Now, luckily, that role gave us Deshaun Watson, but be realistic, they should never wait that long to try to draft a quarterback in the first round. Same thing with what they gave the payment they gave the franchise tag to Dante Robinson. Dante Robinson ended up not re-signed. He only signed the 1 year tender. They never got a contract worked out to him. He left and went to Atlanta. What happened to his career after that? Like they once they get burnt on something, they don't like to go down that avenue, even though each situation is different. Yeah. Not every situation is created equally. So I guess that's just really the fear. Once we do something once and it fucks up, oh no, I ain't doing this shit no more.
Yeah. And sometimes that can be good, but most of the time for the Texans, that has not panned out to be very successful. Man, here's the deal. We're gonna go a few more minutes. Professor Dizzle, let me know if you gonna if you gonna do your thing this evening, and I'll make sure I'll crack that back open. But man, like I say, looking at some things, we kind of jumped back to the draft a little bit, and we were talking about, you were talking about some running backs. You were talking about the kid from A&M, and again, like I say, so with that money and that would be freed up, say you let a guy like Lamar Miller go. I mean, who do you think that? Well, actually, I'm saying talking about that, but I'm actually talking about free agency. Who do you think that would be a serviceable, available free agent that the Texans should take a look at?
Does it? What position specifically, or it doesn't matter?
Just like I said, we can free up some more money off the books. Like I say, we've got a little bit of change, and I don't want to say hypothetically we keep it clown here. Now we're just gonna leave that up in the air. But if they can free up some more money, what's a legitimate free agent that you think the Texans should be looking at?
I need to look more so at the phrasing, because I just glanced at either it was the top 25 or the top 50 phrasing list, and I know early on Texans, it's 3 Texans on it, Clowney, Kareem, and Honey Badger go in the top 20 or something like that. I know Clowney's either 3 or 4, so I don't think the phrasing pool is really all that deep. To be honest with you, I would look more so at the names and look at the players and see exactly when it comes to phrasing. I would like to see us trying to make some moves via trades. I know Patrick Peterson is a trade that I would try to see. It depends on what it's costing to make me back out or not. But that's something that I would try to see if we can make a move on that, because I would still want to get Patrick Peterson and draft a corner, because you don't want Kareem Jackson in a situation when you draft a young guy and throw him out there and he suffers because he's out there on the island.
Yeah.
So if you get him some, I think we have a better situation because we got better safeties than we did back in 2010. But you give him another corner opposite of him that's a legitimate corner. Then you have J-Joe as a third corner with the knowledge. I know his skill set has diminished, but he still is an extremely knowledgeable corner.
Exactly.
And that right there can help a young guy grow tremendously.
Exactly. So if it came down to it, man, you only had a choice from one or the other, and then we'll open up the line and let the professor call in. You only got a choice out of Kareem and Honey Badger, man. Who you rolling with?
If I had to pick one, damn. Because to be honest, I think that Kareem played for a full 16-game season. I think Kareem actually played better than Honey Badger, but Honey Badger is more impactful because he's a better veteran and he's more of a leader than Kareem. So I guess I would go with Honey Badger just because of the leadership standpoint, and I think that him being Justin Reed for at least another season that will do so much, because I believe that Justin Reed is going to, and that makes this situation kind of easier because I think Justin is going to be one of those top 5 safeties over the next 5 to 6 years. I really firmly, I see him game-changing plays and game-saving plays and things like that. As far from a legitimate defense, and I think the knowledge and the veteran leadership that Honey Badger brings to that table, and also he this year, after only being on the team for a couple months, took the hard part. You know, that's what we used to say about Brian Cushing. He was the heart and soul of his team.
Yeah.
That's what Honey Badger is after only being there for a couple of months.
Okay, I agree, man. Professor, you need the new number there, and let me know. Like I said, we'll take a call. We'll get ready to wind it up here in a second. See what y'all talking about, because I know the chat been a little slow, Boogie. Let me bring it up. Say, check out UH basketball. What's the goddamn dilly? Byron, what's the motherfucking deal? Wink, what's the motherfucking deal? Kareem Hunt, stop it. So now, interesting. It's talking about some teams have actually been looking at Kareem Hunt. What do you think about that situation? What do you think about entertaining Kareem Hunt?
What's this shit? I think shit. Talking about the Texans?
Yeah, well, do you think that should be something that they should take a look at? Yeah, Sauceline got a new number, so I don't know if you know. It's what is this? 832. Yeah, I put on. No, that ain't it. That's the wrong one. No, it's not 832. It's 833. It's 800 number. 833-677-2823 or 83-4 That's the easy way to remember it. FOR sauce. So 83 FOR SAUCE. That's the easiest way to remember that bitch. And like I say, and then we'll get ready to wind it down after the Dizzle Man call. But would you entertain Kareem Hunt? I mean, is that a move you think the Texans should make? Or I mean, I know, but we know what the Texans are. We know how the Texans mentality
but
is.
We already know what they gonna do.
Yeah.
Yeah, we already know what they gonna do. I'll take Kareem in a heartbeat, but we already know what they gonna do.
Yeah.
We already know what they gonna do. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah, like I say, and the thing is, even if he again, that has to be, a friendly contract to take, because I mean he's gonna have to be happy to be back in the league after all that stuff. I think he still got to miss 60 games. I mean not 6 games or something like that. They already having a skills challenge. I ain't even watching that bitch. All right, hold on one second. What's the motherfucking deal? Who we got calling in on the sauce line this evening?
This is Jay Dizzle. Damn, you didn't change the whole fucking sauce line thing up.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
I was about to hang up on this shit. I'm thinking it was voicemail or something.
the old 90s style where they play music on the voicemail and shit. What's the motherfucking deal, Jay Dizzle? What you want to drop on the sauce line this evening, man?
Okay, before I get into my little spiel, which ain't much, shout out to Wink. I'm about to be in North Carolina in about another hour and 14 minutes.
Okay.
So shout out to him up here in his, I don't know if it's his home state or not, but just shout out to Wink anyway.
Yeah,
and shout out to y'all too, you know what I'm saying, you and Spitz.
Let me find out you
y'all
checking out for that new J. Cole, man, so you sliding out to North Carolina, man.
Nah, I don't know nothing about all that, man. I'm going to stick to my zero. But anyway, I agree with most of what Spitz saying, but I really disagree with both of y'all on the quarterback versus the offensive lineman thing. And I don't understand why y'all don't see the logic behind it. And I see what you did. You were talking about if we did have a better O-line, then you still have to stop Andrew Luck. Okay, I get that argument, but I'm going to refute that in just a second. Let's just say it was the opposite. And we did have two pretty good corners. I think that might have limited Indy to what? One less touchdown? Okay. You know what I'm saying? We still don't win that game. So, no. And if you had the offensive line, this is the part that y'all didn't catch up on. If we had a better O-line, we wouldn't be doing them 3 and outs, which would get our defense to have more rest. So they have less exposure, less chance of injury. All of that rolls up into there. Then if we have an O-line, we have a running game, which also helps eat time off the clock and still move the ball. So Andrew Luck don't get the ball yet, but he's not going to have as much time as he once would have. Now, Watson is more of a home run hitter for the most part, but our receivers don't get open all the time. Okay? So the drives were going to be slow. And on the other thing about the corner, on the defensive side, we didn't get no pass rush. Andrew Luck was back there clipping his toenails and shit, bro. Nobody was touching him. So you can only cover a receiver for so long. No matter how good of a corner you are, you can only cover for so long to find an open spot, and he able to just to rifle the ball in. So, but even after saying all that, by where we picking at, we need to draft a corner first. Because y'all know as well as I do, ain't going to be no good O-lineman that deep in the draft. But we'd have to have a higher pick to get one of the better, the cream of the crop as far as the O-line goes. So I don't agree with y'all of having the corners other than the offensive line. The offensive line to me is just way more important because it helps a whole bunch more issues. Don't solve everything, but it helps a lot more issues than having better corners do. And by where we drafting that, we'll have a better chance of getting a more quality player at corner than we will getting a quality player at guard and or tackle. That's my opinion. Y'all can refute it if y'all want to. It's good either way. Y'all have a good one.
All right. Appreciate the call there, Jay Dizzle.
All right.
Already. But I think that kind of plays into it though. I mean, because looking at the situation that we are in, and I agree. Like I said, we're not going to get the. I mean, the draft would just have to fall extremely favorably to have that situation happen. So I just think that's kind of what it is. I think corner is more favorable in that situation. I would agree that if we were a higher pick, that I would go. Yeah. I would definitely go O-line, but I just don't think we're in that situation. So I think that's kind of where you said, don't let me put words in your mouth. But again, I think that's kind of what the situation was. We're saying that where we're at, that's your best move. Because I think if you had a higher draft pick, you're going to go with somebody that's going to protect Deshaun. And again, I think where we're at, we're kind of in that little gray area of late in the first round. So a lot of that top talent is going to be off the board. But again, like I say, you see motherfuckers fall, you see motherfuckers drop all the time. So you don't really know. Because from what I'm hearing, I think Greedy's supposed to be gone early. And who was the other guy you mentioned?
Baker. From what I've seen, Baker more than likely will be there around the time we pick. Either gets taken right after us, taken with us, taken right before us. Like Baker, someone would be in that mix. And I actually agree with what he said. And that's one reason why I said it depends on how the board falls. Because when he brought up a great point when he mentioned Andrew Luck being back there, being protected. Yeah. He was back there chilling. He's from Houston. He was sitting there in the lazy boy at the crib over there on the south side, just chilling while he was doing what he. Yeah, he pulled up and everything. You know what I'm saying? He got a chance to check out the new Killer album. Okay, yeah, Killer record. Let me throw this right here. So like he was able to check out everything, but they drafted they guard in the top 5, top. I know definitely was top 5. I mean, like top 10. So it's like either top 5, top 6, something of that juncture. We don't have that luxury unless you talking about moving up. And then what does that cost you to move up that far to draft those type of offensive linemen? Not to mention, this is a defensive-heavy draft. This draft is loaded with defensive players all over the draft. This is more of one of those defensive-heavy drafts. So you get more bang for your dollar by getting a corner at 23 than you do getting those whatever guard or offensive tackle falls to you at the position of 23.
Okay. Well, that's a bet, man. That's a bet, man. I say I gotta get ready to slide here for just a second, so we can get ready to wind it up, man. But I want to say shout out to Spitz again.
Yeah.
Spitz, the man, set the goal. You know what I'm saying? I believe in when you speak things out into the universe, those things will come to fruition. So hey, again, if you're not following Spitz, the link is right there under the first little paragraph or whatever. I moved it up so y'all can see it. Make sure y'all go show that man some love, man. Like I say, 2K on the way to 4K, man. The man said he had a goal for this year, so we're gonna make that shit happen. But man, Spitz, you got anything you want to say before we slide up out of here?
Not much, man. Just appreciate y'all boys having me on there. Appreciate everybody in Sauce Nation. Like I said, if you haven't gone, subscribe to me, go ahead. And if you have, let your homeboy, your homegirl, anybody that you know that likes sports and want to hear good sports talk, they ain't got to just be Texans and Magic fans, because I'm going to be doing other things as well. But like I said, my goal for this year is trying to get the 4. But before I get the 4, I got to get the 2 first.
Already. Like I say, it's still look like you say, what you skipping steps for? We're going to get there one step at a time, man. Hey, yeah. But with that being said, like I say, I'm your boy at Honcho, man. Y'all already know what it is. Again, for those y'all fuck with it, we'll be at the end at 10. Man, I appreciate y'all, man. Sauce Nation. Y'all already know y'all the freshest motherfucking ingredients in the world. I appreciate all the love. I appreciate everybody who's been supporting. Let's hope spread some of that love. Like I say, slide over to Spitz channel, man. And like I say, go hit that subscribe button, man. It don't hurt. It's free. You know what I'm saying? I know y'all like the content, so make it shake, man. But with that being said, Chunk to produce. Y'all be cool like y'all be cool. We'll be back at it tomorrow, man. Y'all stay saucy, and we out.